Welcome into the Association Weekend Edition. It's post-game. We just watched the Detroit Pistons wrap up the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They have clinched that. They can start looking forward to the postseason. A big road victory over the Philadelphia 76ers tonight, 116-93. I'm Jason Zone Fisher, and I'm joined as always by my two favorite basketball analysts, insiders, writers, journalists. We got too many adjectives and not enough time. Sean Little and Katie Heindel. Sean, Katie, great to be with you on this Saturday evening. Now, we previewed the game here on NBA TV. We watched it go down. The Pistons, we talked a lot about their depth. Sean, we saw all 5 of the starters for the Pistons score in double figures. We saw their bench score 40 points, and they've been getting it done now 8-2 without Cade Cunningham in this recent stretch. They are the #1 seed, and they deserve to be. But first let's break down what was your take on what we saw from Detroit tonight against Philly.
They bullied them. They wanted the game more. They beat them up inside. They beat them up on the glass. It looked like they really wanted to tuck this #1 seed away. Maybe they're gonna get a little extra day off or something now that that's all sealed up. But they flat out wanted the game more, and that was clear from the start, and it was clear down the stretch. They hit a 3 to end the first half, and it just continued to roll into the second. Philly just didn't have it. They seemed disinterested, and it showed in the final box score.
Well, this was an important game for both teams. Obviously, Detroit played well, and they locked up that #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. But, Katie, this is important for Philly because they came into tonight's matchup as the #6 seed in the East. With this loss, they've now dropped down to #7. The Raptors are currently the 6th seed, and there's a big difference there between being in the play-in and locking up a postseason berth. Still 4 games left on their schedule. But what did you see in tonight's matchup that stood out to you between the Pistons and the Philadelphia 76ers?
Yeah, to add to what Sean said, other than getting bullied, I feel like they got a little bit strung out, especially down the stretch in the second half. I think they didn't really do a good job of holding on to the ball in the sense of trying to control the pace. It was really clear that the Pistons just had their number on that from the start. And I point to something like they only had 17 assists to the Pistons, like 33 or something. So there are ways that they could have slowed it down for themselves, but they weren't really moving it around. And the bench, obviously, you mentioned that the bench came up short as well. So in a game where everyone had to really lock in, they came out really strong. They did. They came out with the punch. They just weren't able to keep up the tempo. I think they went looking a little bit for calls, looking for foul hunting. I think they didn't really do themselves any favor to really push and control the pace the way that Detroit did.
Well, Detroit has had Philly's number all season long. They now sweep the season series against the Sixers 4-0 for the Pistons as they've been making it look easy against a lot of the Eastern Conference so far this year, and they're the #1 seed for a reason. We're going to get more into this game and look ahead to the postseason picture on the next side of this break, so don't go anywhere. Sean Little, Katie Heindel, myself, Jason Zone Fisher, we'll be back with you in just seconds. Stay here.
That's greatness we're witnessing by Donovan Mitchell. Oh my goodness!
I mean, I've been doing this 8 years, just entering my prime and getting ready for the more impactful years of my career.
This guy is so impressive.
I think Donovan Mitchell is the best player in the NBA right now.
For me, I've been called upon, and I got to answer the bell, and that's my role.
Time to take care of business. Get to it.
Welcome back to the Association post-game edition, where we just saw the Detroit Pistons lock up the number one seed in the East with a 23-point victory over the Philly 76ers. Jason Zone Fisher, Sean Little, Katie Heinel with you. And moments ago, the head coach of the Detroit Pistons sat down at the podium. Let's hear the thoughts of Coach J.B. Bickerstaff.
Obviously, big accomplishment for the team to clinch number one. We heard the applause and celebration in there. Just kind of what's the mood and what does that accomplishment mean for this team?
Take a moment, reflect on where we've been, reflect on the work that we've put in to get here, but understanding that this isn't the finish, right? So to grow the way this group has grown together as quickly as it has, it is special. But, we got more food to eat. So we'll take tonight, enjoy this, but tomorrow we'll get back to work.
First half and second half of this game, just very different vibes. To score 71 in the first half and then turn around and hold Philly to 12 points in the fourth, 33 I think in the second half. Just what did you like about how they closed this game and turned it up at the end?
Our effort defensively in the second half was phenomenal. The physicality picked up, how active we were, deflecting, getting deflections, blocking shots, being physical, being disruptive. There you go, Tobe. I thought it was a great effort, and everybody, again, contribute.
The level of consistency you guys have been displaying this entire season. This is now your 12 out of 15 you've won. Has it been a series of things with this team to maintain that consistency?
It's how we approach the game. And what our guys have done a great job with throughout this season is staying present and staying in the moment. All we think about is what are we going to do today that's going to make us a better basketball team. We don't think about 10 games. We don't think about March, April. We think about exactly where we are in that moment, and that allows us to stay consistent emotionally and go out and play the game the right way.
Is it also reflective in your scoring balance? You had all five of your starters in double figures, two off the bench in double figures. Is that also reflective in your offensive approach as well?
Yeah, we wanted diversity in our offense. We want everybody to feel like they're a part of it, everybody to get a touch. The more we move the ball, just factually and the analytics tell us that we're a much better basketball team when we move the basketball. So you move the basketball and everybody's going to get a chance to eat.
To do this without Cade and without Stu, especially with the way things looked, what does that say about the resolve of this team and about, I guess, kind of the way this team can adjust on the fly?
Yeah, no, what I think it says is, we're the definition of team, right? We're not just a bunch of individuals in a locker room. When we play together, because of the way that we defend, we've got enough guys offensively, who can generate offense for us. But we are a team. Obviously, we miss Cade, we miss Stu, we understand their impact. But what you've seen from this group of guys is no one's trying to be someone they're not. They're just trying to be the best version of themselves. And
That was head coach J.B. Bickerstaff. His Detroit Pistons locked up the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Quite an accomplishment. They're going to enjoy it tonight, but they're still hungry. They still got to eat. Sean, what were your thoughts on some of the things that coach had to say there?
Yeah, there's plenty of meat on the bone. Apparently, they think they can make some noise. And I like that he talked about how they stay present. They're not technically looking forward and trying to figure out what they're going to do. Cade's not around. We have to figure out how we're going to get it done while he's out. So they're just going step by step, moment by moment, and I like that thought process, especially for this group of guys that outside of Cade don't really have a lot of firepower. They have Tobias Harris. You heard him in the background bringing the love for his coach and that leadership. But outside of those two guys, it's a lot of young guys and a lot of guys that have made some leaps, as we see the guy number one that's made an impact and just upgraded his game as Jalen Duren. So, yeah, I love what JB said about staying in the moment, because it does seem like that possession by possession, they're just figuring out and grinding out ways to get it done.
You heard him say they're the definition of a team. All their starters in double figures tonight, 40 points off the bench. Doing this without Cade Cunningham, their proven number one option. Katie, what makes this Detroit team so dangerous and makes them a deserving number one seed in the East?
Well, they put in so much work to get here. And, I wrote about this recently. I think, I said, they own their own breaks, which is a sense of they can be without Cade, they can be without Isaiah Stewart right now, and they can control the tempo of the game. When Bickerstaff mentioned that, intellectually, I know they're without Beef Stew, but to see them come with that kind of physicality tonight without him, right? To think what a punch it'll be once he comes back, right? And once Kate comes back and they get that firepower. So I think we're really seeing the depth at play. You know, we talked about Duncan Robinson before the game. He's plus 27 tonight. It goes all the way down the bench for this team. I know rosters get a little bit smaller as we get into the postseason, but I think it's such a meaningful win for them and to be able to cinch that 1 seed because, again, like this is an incredible team effort all the way top to bottom.
I'm excited to see this Detroit Pistons team in the postseason, bringing that physicality to a whole other level. And a big reason for their success this year is the improved play of Jalen Duren. 16 and 7 tonight in limited minutes. They didn't need a ton from him, but he's been getting it done all season long. And he now is at the podium to share some of his thoughts on Detroit locking up the 1 seed. Here's Jalen Duren.
It's love. It's love.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man.
First off, just talk about the way this team, again, displays a kind of balance, both on offense and defense tonight.
Yeah, I think it really started for us on defense, and that just, helped everything we had going on the offensive end. I think as a team, that's what we've been preaching all season, and when we're playing our best basketball, it's because of what we're doing on defense end. When we're getting stops and being able to run and get in transition, that's when we're at our best.
You clinched the #1 overall seed. I know
Yes,
there's
sir.
so much more for this team to do. But
Yes, sir.
getting this done, what's the speaker with the way this team has played throughout not just this recent stretch, but throughout the entire season?
Yeah, I think we take pride in being just the most together. You know what I mean? Through the ups, through the downs. We lean on each other. We really take brotherhood seriously over here. And, JB has come in, set an expectation, and this is what we expected to be. We expected to be one of the better teams in this league because of the amount of work we put in and the togetherness we have.
The amount of balance you guys have had with scoring, you had all 5 players, your starters in double figures, 2 on the bench in double figures as well. Is it reflective of the way you guys just play as a team, as a unit?
Yeah, we just share the ball. Like I said, it goes back to being the most together team. We share the ball. It's not all about one guy. Every night it might be somebody else's turn, and whoever got the high hand would just feed. Tonight, it was just the whole team's night.
You were questionable a few hours before the game, but how important was it for you tonight to get out, and especially with the chance to touch #1, go out and deliver?
Nah, super important, man. Just super important, man. Took a couple hot showers, got a couple Dayquils, and then, just got pushed through. I wanted to be out there with my guys and fight with my guys, just like I know they would.
First time since 07, obviously that you guys did put your first seed. What does it kind of mean?
Put some respect for my guy's name, man.
For a city that you
All
are so
NBA in
attached
this
to.
bed.
You said what?
I'm saying, what does it mean to just kind of clinch that #1 seed?
Oh, yeah. Man, it means the world. I think we got the best fans in the league. They've been behind us, ever since I got here, through the ups, through the downs. They supported us, and they deserve it, man. The city deserve it. Got a long way to go, a lot more to do, a lot more to accomplish, but like I said, we're going to enjoy this tonight. Appreciate y'all.
That was all-star forward Jalen Duren of the Detroit Pistons. He was questionable entering tonight's game, but a couple showers and some Dayquils, he was ready to go, and he got it done, a part of the team that clinched the #1 seed. Katie, Jalen Duren has really been impressive all season long. I'm excited to see him in the postseason. Do you think he can take it even to another level when we see postseason basketball roll around?
Absolutely, I do. There's such a gravity to him. And I'm glad we're seeing a little bit of levity. We can hear it in the background there because this is a team that really, they take it game by game, possession by possession, as we've said. But I think we're going to see a lot more from him in the postseason.
Well, I can't wait for that. And the postseason is right around the corner. We just have a couple games left in the NBA. We're going to look ahead to the remaining schedule and what this means for both the Sixers, the Pistons, and the rest of the league on the next side of this break. So don't go anywhere. Stay locked in with us here on the Association